Put your red shirt on and a brown coat too. Everybody's joining the crew. We got just one ring, let we rule them all. Hope would remember your call. Get your Ulu feathers and your Middle guns. A sonic screwdriver or a sword plus one. Use Valerian steel it will get you to count. To the pit, tank. To the pit, tank. The Rocky Mountain pit, tank.
Hi, I'm Troy,
I am Alex.
and this is Rocky Mountain Geek Tank, your guyless-sized podcast once again, and also a your mom-sized podcast. Which, depending on how big your mom is, that could be a big podcast.
My.
So yeah, so we came in hot.
Yeah, my internet's been being annoying. So
Yeah,
if it drops again while we're on the cast, I'll tether through my phone.
okie dokie. But yeah, I figured since it was just Mother's Day yesterday, and I don't think we covered a lot of stories. But you've got some really interesting mom stories, like borderline horror stories.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe we could talk about. I've got a few stories that none of them nearly as entertaining as yours, but still, I think it'd be fun to talk about. Since I mean, Mother's Day was yesterday.
No
No,
mothers.
it was. And this way, a guy can feel even worse that he went and saw some movie without instead of talking about your mom.
Man, he's
So,
been hanging out with this guy a lot.
yeah, well, he is single now, so
Yeah,
mm.
could be.
So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
but yeah,
so my mother grew up in Nicaragua, and she used to tell us stories of all sorts of stuff that she used to do. Um, at least one of them is like, when I was a kid, she would say that her mom would always know that she had a boyfriend because she would like bathe regularly. And I always thought that was really weird. But then I
hey, Bob.
realized, hey Bob, I realized that and when I was a kid, I was probably about my daughter's age, um, and I was like, I'm gonna throw my mom off the scent. I'm gonna start showering every day. Ha ha ha! You'll never know. And I came to realize a few years ago as a adult that it's a lot different to, I'm going to shower every day than what she had to do, where she had to like get together, like, I'm pretty sure firewood and boil water and then put it into a tub and then like put cold water in and take a bath in it. It's like, yeah, it's a lot of effort. There's no real hiding that.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't want to do that every day. Um, but yeah, and then so the funnier stories about growing up with my mom. Um, One of them is that she used to like to jump out and scare us. Um, she'd like hide underneath things, behind things, and just spring out and get us. And she couldn't really do it after we got the dog. We didn't get the dog till I was like in seventh grade. And I was probably about 12. Um, and but even before that, she would like hide and scare my siblings because I'm 7 years older than the next one, than 11, than the one after that. And so actually, I wound up curing her of trying to scare me anymore because we used to have in this particular house, Connecticut, for the first time, we had a linen closet, and it was like recessed a little bit. So like you'd open up the door, and then like you have to reach the shelves. You'd have the towels and such on. And I remember one day, it was like a weekend or summer or something, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna get my mom good. This one, because I was just small enough that I could actually like fit in.
Kind of breaking up there. I don't know if it's just my side or everyone else's
Going.
side.
Is my internet dying again?
Yeah, you're kind of locking up. I was waiting to see if Brent and Bob, if it's happening for them too, or if it's just on my side of things.
Uh,
So is Alex locking up for you guys? Of course, we have to wait for them to respond. Oh, it is Alex. Okay, it's all you, Alex. I think your internet's being a jerk. I'm uh, I'm assuming since you're frozen, you are now attempting to tether through your phone. Technical difficulties. Stupid internets being stupid and stuff. Well, while he is relogging on, I will tell a let's see, jump scare stuff. Yeah, my mom never did any jump scare stuff, but she did get into selling Mary Kay makeup at one point, and my older brother was huge into doing horror makeup effects like gore and such. And of course, being a teenager, he didn't have his own money, so he would swipe my mother's Mary Kay supplies to do horror makeup effects. And eventually, she figured out what was going on and was not very happy about it. But I'd say the a reverse jump scare kind of thing would be that my brother would use me for his test subject and do like bullet hole wounds on my head and things, and then of course my mom would come home and see her youngest son covered in blood and wounds and freak out. And I'm, no, 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 it's just makeup. Don't panic. No, there we go.
All right, tether
All
through the
right.
phone. So yeah, so there was a linen closet. It was there was a door, and then there was some space, and then there was the shelves, and it actually there's a door, and there was space on the sides as well. And so this one day, I decided like I'm gonna get my mom back, and I was small enough I could fit in there. I was probably like 9ish. Yeah, let's say 9ish, 9, 10ish. And I so I yell, I'm going out. And I open the door and I let it slam shut, and I just sneak upstairs and I go in there because right now my mom's got there's at least one sibling. There might be two at this point in time, and diapers are in the closet. And I just wait and I wait. She's gonna have to come to the linen closet sooner or later, and I wait and I wait and I wait. And she finally, I hear her come up the stairs. The door opens. She reaches out to get the diapers, and I just rah! And she smacks the shit out of me while screaming. But she never tried to do that kind of scare with me ever again. So success.
Yay. It only
Yay.
took a smacking to get rid of that.
Yep. And then the most famous story is my mother used to chase me around the house with dead chickens. She'd be preparing chicken and such, and then she would chase me around the house with it, and it just terrified me. Just terrified me. And like as an adult, I would tell my mom this. She was like, but I was playing. I'm like, yeah, I get that, Mom. I get it. But it was terrifying. I was scared. She's like, you were laughing. I'm like, laughing in terror. And like I still don't do well with chicken on the bone. Many years ago, Lauren was like, yeah, just prep up the chicken for me. It's cool. And I was just like, oh God, why? I want to vomit all over this. Terrible. Just couldn't do it. But yeah, but she also had like other stories like when she was growing up in Nicaragua, they had outhouses, and so there were just pigs that would wander around. And so she said, you'd be popping a squat in the outhouse, and the pig would come by and be like bumping your butt with its nose. It's like, give me the stuff, I want it. Or like they had a pet monkey that had like a denim overalls and like a hole for poop, but it couldn't. But it peed the overalls, and it was wearing green overalls after a while. She tells a story about one time she'd gotten something like, you're running around barefoot, you're a kid, and she had wound up getting a cut in her foot, and something was in there, and her mom was pretty much like, well, whatever. By the way, my grandparents, shitty people. And so, yeah, she was like, whatever, don't care. Toad gets super infected. It's getting gross. They might have to like cut it off or something. And of course, they got like chickens running around. This one chicken kind of saw what was going on, saw something, and it just like pecked at it, just like took out like this bit of shell or glass, psh, pus and blood everywhere. But then, yeah, the foot came out okay. Oh, here's another story about my mom. Yeah, go chicken. Chicken's the hero. Another story about my mom is that I'm 8 years old. It's summertime. I'm running around barefoot. like you do. And I cut right underneath my little toe, like where the little toe attaches to the foot. I cut it, not a big cut, but I cut it and it hurt. So I kind of hobble my ass over to my mom. And I'm like, Mom, I cut my foot. And she's like, what do you want me to do about it? I'm like, help me. She's like, okay, well, go wash and put some salt on it. And I'm like, I'm 8. I still trust my mother. And so I wash it with soap, which stings. And I'm used to like iodine and shit. So I'm like, okay, no iodine today. That's good. And I put some salt on it. I just start screaming bloody murder. Mom was like, what? What did you do? I'm like, I put salt on it like you told me to. She's like, I was joking. That's what she says to me. Oh my gosh.
Man,
Um,
we have very different mothers.
my mom,
My
I mean,
so I was on a bike wreck when I was a teenager. That's where I get this scar from here because my head bounced on the ground, and it's pouring down rain. And I was with a friend, and my friend was like, "You're bleeding." So I put my hand on the wrong side of my head because I don't feel anything, and I'm like, "Same thing." He's like, "No, the other side." So I do that, and then because it's a head wound, so it's bleeding a lot, and it's raining, so it's mixed with water, so my entire hand's just covered in blood. I'm like, I've heard of this thing called shock before. I don't feel any pain. Maybe I should stay here, and you go get someone to come help get me home, since I've heard this whole thing about not moving an injured person, blah blah blah. So my dad comes and picks me up. I'm only probably about 5 minutes away from the house. And gets me back. And when I walk in, my mom just starts screaming and freaking out because, as far as she's concerned, I'm the walking dead at this point, and I'm not gonna live to make it to the hospital, as far as she could tell, because there's so much blood, which there wasn't. I think it ended up being something like 3 or 5 stitches, so it wasn't any real big deal. Getting the stitches hurt more than the bike wreck itself, and that didn't even really hurt that much. My mom never chased me with any kind of beheaded animal, which is good. She never gave me advice like rubbing salt in a wound. Uh, the worst she did, I think, as far as health goes, is she had a bad habit of leaving food out for a long time, and even if it was something with mayonnaise in it, like making potato salad and letting it sit out for like a few hours.
oh my
and
God.
that and it's only one of these things in hindsight that I'm like, oh, how did we live? Because I didn't know at the time anything at all about it, because that's my source is my mom, so I assume that that's how cooking is done, and this is how things are done.
She's
Just
like,
like
this a poison, Troy. Get him out of my hair.
But I technically have 2 dads, so I don't want to confuse people. But yeah, the dad who picked me up from the bike wreck is my mom's second husband, who I call dad because he's an awesome guy. And I have my biological dad. And so in the cooking phase, he was one of those people who would keep just this coffee jar full of bacon grease. And whenever cooking anything, you just scoop it and throw it right in there. He made squirrel once, and my brother chipped his tooth on part of the buckshot that was still on the squirrel because my dad didn't properly clean it before doing that. Let's see. So I think one of the funnier stories I like, and this involved both my mom and my grandma, because I needed them both there for this to work. First science fiction convention I ever went to was called RiverCon. It was in Louisville, Kentucky. And their shirt they had on the front, it was this cute little beaver at a riverboat, like riverboat gambling. And on the back, it had this gargoyle head, which I don't know what the correlation was. I don't remember that. But I just remember in my grandma's kitchen, it was really small, so you could barely fit 3 people in there. My grandma was already in there, and my mom was in there as well. And I came in and walked between them to go get something. And I want to say I was probably about 14 at the time. And I hear my mom scream behind me, like when he's like, ah, type screams. So I immediately like spin around real quick to see what's going on. And with perfect timing, my grandma gives the same scream. So I spin back around to see what's going on there. Then my mom screams again. So I spin back around. I'm like, what's going on? And it's like, you're back. I'm like, what? Is there a giant spider on it or something? And like, what the hell's on your back? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. And it's like, there's this demon head on your back. And I'm like, oh, that's a gargoyle, not a demon. But both of them are like insanely religious. And so clearly it was like
insanely stupid religious.
Insanely, yeah, it's like the people who are like the devils in Star Wars in that cantina scene. It's like it's a demon monster alien critter. It's not the devil. But yeah, it was hilarious to me because for a few moments I was ready to like fight something. because I thought
Mm-hmm.
something bad was happening, but they were both just freaking out because the back of my shirt had this gargoyle head on it. Um,
Ah.
yeah, brr. I know I've told this story on here before, but when I was like 3 years old, when Jaws came out, my whole family went to see Jaws, and and of course I barely remember much of it, but I'm pretty sure that's why I'm mostly desensitized to horror movies, since that's where it started. But my brother told me that when the shark popped out for the first time, my mom freaked out and like threw the popcorn everywhere and kicked her feet, and one of her flip flops went flying a few rows away or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
As a 3-year old, I don't remember the details of it. I just remember my brother telling me how that went down, and I remember
I got
you
a, I
telling
got
me
I
about
got
the
some movie stories about my mom.
yeah, werewolf in
An
London, right?
American Werewolf in
Where,
London is probably
yeah.
the worst one. Let's see, when did it come out? It came out in uh, bu- 81, so I'm five-ish. And for my mother decided that she wanted to go see this movie. Um, and for whatever reason, like I'm pretty sure, yeah, we were living with, pretty sure we used to live at that point in time with her mom, her brothers, her sister in one house. And this might have been right after we moved out, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I mean, generally it's like, she'd go see this, like she'd go watch movies with like her friends, and I'd be at home with aunts and uncles and grandma. But for whatever reason, she took me. So that's why I'm guessing that she didn't have childcare. She took me to this movie, and it's an American Werewolf in London, and I'm 5. So I'm watching this movie, and there's these guys in like coats, whatever. It's dark out, and this werewolf comes out of nowhere, just fucking murders one of them. Blood's everywhere, and I scream and I pass out. I just fucking cold. My brain's like, nope, defense mechanism shutting down. Boop. I wake up. Still in the theater. My mom's still watching this movie. And there's the scene where I'm like watching this, like, oh, it's some kind of weird dream sequence. Like it's like autumn, there's all these leaves on the ground, there's like a hospital bed amongst all these trees. What the fuck ever. Yeah, okay, dream sequence. I got this. I got a handle on this. And like the guy goes over to the camera and it shows the guy on the bed, he's all pale and he jumps up, he's like bulging eyes and bloody fangs. And I'm like, nope, we're out. Brain gone. We're done with this bullshit. And I wake up and my mom is carrying me out of the theater. Not because I've screamed and passed out twice, but because the movie's over. She's leaving with everybody else. And then she did go through a horror movie kick when we lived in Connecticut for the second time. So like I said, 7th, 8th grade or so. And I was watching movies with her. I mean, Dad's out to sea 3 months at a time. Back 3 months, he's out to sea. We got a VCR, and she's renting all these horror movies, and I'm watching them with her. And like, and of course, some of the horror movies, like I just didn't grok to. I was too young. Like having watched Lair of the White Worm as an adult, I'm like, oh, this whole like let's rape the nun scene, totally over my head.
Mm-hmm.
But like we got into the point, we're watching any and everything, and there's a part in Evil Dead where they go out to the cabin and they are playing the tape. And it says the only way to dispose of the living dead is through bodily dismemberment. And I just look at my mom and go, oh, I see where this movie's going. And I was right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my mom had her own issues dealing with proper boundaries. And when I say that her parents were pieces of shit, I am not exaggerating. Think of the worst abuse imaginable and tone it down just a little bit, and you'll be in the ballpark. But no, she always loved us, so I got the love stamp, which is good. I needed that. But yeah, pretty wild, pretty wild.
Yeah. As my mom had told me before about she married really young because she was just trying to get away from her father, because he was not a great guy and was abusive to her mom. And so it's one of those things where when she got a bit older, realized I got away from the situation I was in and put myself in a situation that, although better, is still not a great situation. And so then extracted herself from that situation. And then a few years later, after being single for a while, she was coming up as her birthday. One of her friends had set her up on a blind date, and she wasn't going to go. And I don't think I'd like to say that I was the awesome son and had all nothing but good intentions in mind, but more than likely I just like being home by myself so I can watch whatever I want. And I'm sure it's some part of me cared about my mom and that was part of it, but I don't think that was the overdriving thing, because looking back at me as a teenager, I'm like, sure, I was cool and I did some cool things, but I'm not as cool as I thought I was. And I don't think any teenager ever is as cool as they think they are. They think much better
Right.
of themselves. But but I'm like, no, 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 it's your birthday. You should go out on this date. You should go have fun. So I talked her into it and she went, and it turned out to be the person she fell in love with and was married to until the day she died. So and he was an awesome guy, treated her perfectly like a husband should treat a wife, and that as so it turned out really well, and I'm really glad that for whatever reason that I encouraged her to go, she went, and that choice put her on the path of ending up working as a family advocate for the military folks, and so
Cool.
she helped a lot of people. So it's interesting how one choice and one path chosen can have such a huge difference in the other choices that come around. And in
Yeah.
a weird way, because she married him and went to Germany, I eventually, because I didn't get along with my mom very well anyway. I ended up moving with my brother for a while, and then I ended up going to Germany with her, and Germany is where I met Tara.
Mm-hmm.
So had
And
I
rest
never, yeah, so it's this weird
is
thing of how
history.
it all built into it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, like I'm the only child of my mother and father's union. My natural father, he um had another couple kids. My mother did as well with my stepfather, and yeah, my stepdad and I did not get along for
Mm,
till I was an adult. But no, I mean she chose a good guy. And speaking of military, yeah, I mean he's
mhm,
Navy,
cool.
and that he works for the DOE now,
Yeah,
and
cool.
yeah.
Thanks for doing military stuff, John Boy. Our other viewer, Brent, is retired military as well, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
Or my brain's just doing one of those things where it's making up stuff and telling me it's true.
Right.
Gosh, what other? But yeah, my mom passed away. I've lost track now, but is because the brain wants to get rid of that kind of stuff.
Right. Oh, for
So,
John Boy, it's
oh,
so yeah, we can see the chat from all of the platforms. So Brent
oh,
is
rat.
he's on YouTube while you're on
Sorry.
Twitch. So
Ah,
sorry, man.
good catch, Alex. I totally forget that we can see
And I've been
everything.
drinking and I'm tired. I went dancing last night, man.
Nice, but it wasn't the goth ball or goth prom. It was just dancing, right?
No, Goth Prom is at the end of June. I bought a tux. It's gonna be
Mhm.
awesome.
Cool. When Brent confirms what he said, what he says, I'll pass it on to you, John Boy. So Brent, John Boy is asking what branch of the military you worked with. He and John Boy was with USMC
Marines.
Marines. Um, so,
Yeah, my
but
dad was
yeah,
on a boomer,
hmm,
um, doing the 3 months in, 3 months out thing. What branch
nice.
was your stepdad in?
Army. He is a M1 Abrams tank mechanic
Cool.
and a drill sergeant, which by his really laid back and very quiet kind of person, you never would guess that he was a drill sergeant.
Just
And
saves it up for the
he's
new
yeah,
recruits.
it's like only if you're one of his recruits is he going to unleash on you. Otherwise, he's super laid back, barely talks about anything.
Nice.
Yeah, but yeah, he'd. I remember in Germany, he'd bring home these like schematic books on the M1 Abrams tank, and on it is like for military use only. And he's like, "Here, you can look at this if you want." I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
cool.
Yeah. And speaking of like our other viewer that I can see in our chat is on Facebook, so no one can see
Oh
each
wow.
other. Comedy. And then actually, I was wondering, what's the next Anime Con coming up? Is it NDK
Oh,
or is there anything else before that? Or
I feel like there's some other one I never heard of.
Oh.
Here we go. Upcoming. Gotta get the specs on.
Yeah,
So
asking for a friend.
Cockney slang for glasses is bins. And I had to look up where does that even come from because it doesn't make sense because usually it's a rhyming thing.
Yeah, rhyming slang.
But it comes from spectacles rhyming with receptacles, but then they shorten it to
Bins.
bins. Yeah.
Dragon Con. I've heard great things about Dragon Con.
Oh
Never
yeah.
been, but I've heard great things.
Our buddy that works at Black and Red, his son goes to Dragon Con a lot. And I've got some friends back south, southeast that go to Dragon Con.
Oh, there's always. I mean, so our man on Facebook, Bob, he says, "Sorry, I choose to abstain from talking about my mother." It's like, let me tell you about my mother.
Blah 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 blah. All right, so I know this is not a complete list, but this came up last time because I didn't know what Ichi was or Etchi or however it's
Etchi.
ECCHI.
Yeah, Etchi.
Yeah, Etchi Expo 2024 is August 9th through 11th at Embassy Suites in Hilton, Loveland, Colorado. Yeah, that's one I didn't know about. I feel like there was another one. Of course, NDK is August 30th.
Yeah, Labor Day weekend.
I know there's another one I saw that I'm like, which one's that? What is that? January, February, March, April, May. This one happened recently. That's why Anime Onsen.
Oh, onsen.
So that's the one that I had
like
never.
A bathhouse.
That would make sense based off of the half-naked girl with the bucket of water.
Right.
That was in Colorado Springs, which is an appropriate place to have one about a bathhouse, I guess.
Right, it's the whole Springs thing. And where's Etchi Con going to be at? Etchi Expo.
That was I think it was Loveland. Yeah, Embassy Suites by Hilton Loveland Conference Center in Loveland, Colorado.
Well, that makes sense. Loveland, Etchi.
Yeah.
I love it. Bunch of nerds.
Yep. Double checking to see if there's any I've missed here. And of course, Colorado Anime Fest already happened. That was in March.
Yeah. Yeah, we keep on wanting to get the BattleTech Pod guys out, but they're always committed to Dragon Con, which is fair. And honestly, if we had the BattleTech Pods in our room, we'd all be in them all the time. All the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
I'm glad there's a guy who, I don't know if it's just because I was really cool with about how I made contact with him or what, but he chooses NDK over the gaming convention, and he runs demos of Monster Apocalypse, which is basically a big kaiju robot fighting game.
That's cool.
And he's been out twice now, and it's always a big hit.
Nice.
Yeah, I've never been in the BattleTech pods, but I'm sure that's one of those things where the lines would be out the door for those things.
Right. And they would stay there because we'd be in them.
All right. Well, I'm going to get this up and ready so we can do the thing that we're going to do next. Oop, right there. So I'm going to let it roll once, too, so that way they get extra play time from me. So our sponsors, Geek Tank is sponsored by Kieran Games, Geekway Homes, The Massage Wizard, and your mom.
Mama Jamma.
Yeah. Mama-san. So, yeah. Kieran Games can be there for all your plastic miniature wants and such. Guy buys plastic spaceships. I buy plastic miniatures. Had a few friends buy some Magic the Gathering cards from him. I've yet to do the massage thingy. Probably won't because I'm not into that. Massages are more praise. Would you massage your mother's feet?
I'm actually looking forward. I actually have an appointment to go see my musculoskeletal Chinese medicine guy on my birthday. And yeah, he's deep tissue massage and manhandling. He's like tall and lanky. He's like a rock climber. He's got that Abe Lincoln strength. I'm like, yes. Make me crack in awesome ways. And Then
Yes.
stick needles in me and light things on fire. I love it.
So Guy ditched all of us to go see a movie with a friend. What movie? I don't know.
Yes, it's the same friend he had a dinner date with on Saturday.
Yeah, to Casa Benita.
Friend.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I'm sure it's all just friends stuff.
Not a big deal.
No, I mean, in a way, I kind of would want it not to be because he needs somebody, but I don't know if I'd wish him on anybody. I say I can be mean to Guy since he's not here. It's not as fun though when he's not here to be mean to him.
Yeah. I would not go there.
No. Bob Sheets' next convention is going to be Beacon.
Cool.
I've heard of that one. I have not been to that one. That's clearly the wrong convention that I just looked up. Let's try again.
Safe search on.
I don't think I'm still getting the right thing. No.
Blood gaming.
There we go. I'll just add Denver. That should narrow it down to the right thing. Yeah, October 22nd, no, that's the wrong one. Wow. There's a page for 2016 Beacon up.
That's timely.
Yeah. Weird that that's still up. So yeah, September 6th, 7th, and 8th. And it's not a well, I guess technically it's a long, it goes to 2 a.m. They're probably doing that thing that they have to cut off the way that we recently had to start doing with NDK, where it has to be the con shuts down at this time.
Oh yeah. Yep. And NDK we did it for a, let's not drive our people crazy with sleep deprivation.
Mm-hmm.
If individual attendees wish to do that, yes, they may do so, but we are not going to how shall we say, encourage it.
Mm-hmm.
And therefore also have our staff be able to get some rest and such too. Which, hey, for you all mortals, I guess that's good.
Yeah, I got some people on my game staff where it's like, why do we have to close down the game room? I'm like, we don't have to close it down. If you guys want to stay here after we aren't allowed to let attendees in, feel free to stay there and keep playing games. It's just know that operations is no longer operating.
Right. Security's no longer securiating.
Mm-mm. Stuff goes down, you need to call the cops.
Right. Well, if the VGR is open, there's probably somebody there going to handle some shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
Yeah.
We're a bunch of fucking pirates.
Arr.
Arr.
Yeah, no, that's the first place I'm going if zombies start attacking. And we just have to go through a wall and we're there.
Yeah, boom. We'd be fine.
Anyway. Gosh. So my mom also, part of her things she sort of transitioned over to being there's a family advocate for military families, was she started organizing the events for when they would have their, I don't want to say conventions, retreats. That's what they called them. So they would have family retreats, and they would go to different hotels for the weekend. And she started setting up and getting into karaoke, and she would run karaoke for the soldiers and their families there. And that's how I ended up gradually getting into karaoke, was through her doing that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it was mainly because Tara was all for it and would get into it, and then I'm like, what songs can I sing with Tara? And it's singing is one of those things where I regret not getting more serious about younger, and it was just
fair.
I did not see my own potential with it. I just thought, and it's one of those where it's like, no, I'm a horrible singer. I'll play saxophone and stuff. I'm a musician, but that's because we don't hear ourselves the way we sound.
True.
And I think that was what was really messing with me a lot. And over the years, I started doing more and more karaoke and getting more compliments from strangers who owe me nothing. And so therefore they wouldn't bother coming up to me if they didn't need to or want to. So started pushing me more in that direction. Home Depot. I missed something.
I think it's in reference to Zombie Apocalypse Head to Home Depot.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're saying in the immediate outbreak at the
yeah.
convention,
If
Board
we're at
Gaming and VGR
Nandesticon,
will do the shit.
yeah, I know that the most physical, combative people I'm going to find in the gaming room, and at
Yeah,
least the ones I know. So
yeah. No, we got some people. Got some people.
I got the
And then
food. So, but yeah, Home Depot's a great place because they have seeds and potting soil, so you can start farming immediately.
mm-hmm. Then yeah. Yeah, no,
So I'm sorry
yeah.
to sidetrack there.
It's all good. I was trying to think of something. I've been drinking though. What
That's
was
okay.
it?
Yeah, I was
You're saying,
rabbit
oh,
holing
karaoke, and how like you
karaoke and
wish you'd
singing
done karaoke more often.
sooner.
Like, I mean, I've always wanted. I mean, my mom has got a phenomenal voice, and so we've always had music and singing in our house. The
Mhm.
thing that I wish, and this is really funny coming from me at 48 in the year 2024, is that I wish I'd started dancing earlier.
Mm.
Because like my mom always wanted me to dance more, and like my best friend at the time as a teenager was, and other friends are going out to the underage clubs up in Boulder and stuff, and Rock Island and shit, and like I don't dance, blah 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 blah, and I just started to barely crawl out of my own ass at a friend's wedding up in Canada, and I danced for the first time, and I'm like, I came back and I'm like, I went to my mother and my best friend separately, and was like, I'm so sorry, I never danced before, and now I'm like,
Hmm.
I'm the shit.
So what age
I,
were you when you finally dove into dancing?
at least 20,
Okay, I was gonna
maybe
say
21, 22.
from when I knew you, I remember you doing dancing. I never saw you dance, and I never went with you, but I remember you would say you were going to like Rock Island with Jason or
Rock
something
Island,
and doing this.
Millennium,
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
So or the church and that.
The church back when we could do that
So as
there
far as
with Israel.
I've known you to be a dancer.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
I,
nice.
yeah.
Well, it's never too late.
Nope.
So
Never too late.
that's the lesson for you, kiddies.
We old. Look at this.
Hmm.
It's natural.
Hmm.
I've had people accuse me of the dying. It's like, it's just too perfect, and I'm like, you're just too hot for. You're just too fucking thirsty for me.
Right.
It's like, like, take a good look at me. I'm in my late 40s.
It's like dying would involve effort.
Hmm?
And how and it would involve effort and how fast your facial hair grows. You'd be doing it constantly. It'd
Right.
be
Yeah.
irritating.
People don't realize how fast my facial hair actually grows until I tell
Hmm.
them. Like I've been I got a scratch on my head from another student in jujitsu, and so I did shave over it once. I usually shave every couple of days, and I was like, ow, ow, ow. I'm like, crap. Well, in for a penny, in for a pound, finish. And so I've been like letting it heal and putting aloe on it and stuff, but it's just only like a few days worth of growth, and I'm like, it's crazy. Yeah,
Hmm.
I know you do, Bob. I know you do. Bob feels me on the facial hair front. Yeah, it's like,
Nice.
yeah, when I went to like Vampire Ball, I was wearing eyeliner and I was wearing mascara for the first time, and I bought some lipstick there and put it on. Apparently I'm a natural. And a friend of mine who was in drag was like, "Man, we'll have you in full makeup, before you know it." I'm like, feel this, and then and they put their hand on my face, and I go, "Yeah, this is, what time is it? This is 7 hours worth of growth." And they're like, "Wow, that's impressive." I'm like, I'm a hairy
Hmm.
guy. Full makeup is not for me.
Yeah. I'm pretty happy that my facial hair is not so insane. And it wasn't until relatively recently that I've had to start actually shaving more than once a week. There was a time where I could go like a month without shaving.
What? No
It was
fucking way.
and I never realized how rare it was. And
That Holy shit, dude! Like that has
yeah,
never been me since hitting
is
puberty.
weird. And even to now, I have like almost hairless shins and stuff. And that's the way it's always been like my whole life. And then my wife is like, I hate you. Your legs are so smooth and you don't even shave or anything. I'm like,
You're
I don't
like, if
know.
you want my body and
That's
you think I'm sexy.
I mean, I wish I
No,
could
it's
say it's
like,
because I'm like taking rattan sticks and beating my shins until they bleed, but that's not it. They just weird body, I guess.
mhm,
But yeah, now that I have to shave more than once a week, I'm kind of frustrated at it because I'm lazy.
right?
Grizzly Adams. But yeah, my kids certainly did not get my hairless gene because they're monkeys.
Right?
So in fact, my oldest was like, "Why are my legs so hairy? I don't like it." I'm like, "No, I'm the freak. You're natural. You're normal. That's what
Uh,
normal people are." So
right?
let's see.
That is funny.
So I'm trying to think of other mothers stuff. Um, I could definitely say that probably one of the best things that my mom passed down to me was aspects of cooking. So
Mm.
obviously not very good food prep hygiene or keeping it, but the learning how to bread and fry chicken thing is one of those that's kind of my specialty now, and she passed that on to me. And rum cake, I haven't made rum cake for a long time,
Oh
but
my gosh.
the rum cake was her recipe that she passed down to me.
Nice. Yeah, you make a good rum cake. I'm still I haven't done it in a while, but I'm still kind of working on my pineapple upside down rum cake recipe
Mm.
that I have is in progress. Yeah,
Uh,
cool. Any other mom stories? Let's see. Hmm.
so as I mentioned before, my mom is highly religious,
Mm-hmm.
and she forced me to go to this church with her, and she had never been, so she was trying a new church and took me with her. And after all the stuff, had me meet with the pastor and whoever his assistant was or whatever. And they did this whole thing where they set me down and like, all right, we just want you to say that you accept Jesus Christ as your savior. And I'm like a teenager, probably like 14, 15, and which is a bad time to be dealing with Troy when he doesn't want to be dealt with. And I'm
Ha!
like, you want me to lie to you? And they're like, what? I'm like, you're asking me to lie to you. No, if you say it, then it's true. I'm like, that's not how the truth works.
Hmm?
You don't understand. I'm not saying it because I don't believe it's true. And I feel it's dishonest for me to say what you're asking me to say, to just say it. And they didn't want to hear anything. They didn't want to deal with any kind of intelligence. They just wanted me to say it because I guess they get brownie points for it or something. But they were also talking about how you shouldn't have
Say
any.
the words.
Yes, say the words. Like you
Klaatu
can't.
Verata necktie nickel.
But they're like, you can't have any posters hanging up because that's false idols. I'm like, I've got a poster of Indiana Jones hanging up, and you're telling me that's a false idol?
I don't worship
I don't
Indiana
worship him.
Jones.
Yeah, it's.
I don't
I
like,
think
oh,
so.
what would our Lord and Savior Indiana Jones say?
But yeah, I kept looking at my mom. I'm like, are you? And I could tell she knew I was right, but because
Mm-hmm.
of her commitment to religion, she couldn't admit that. And so eventually, I just got to the point where I'm like, so you're saying if I say these things, you'll let me go? And they're like, yeah. So I said it, and I left. And I'm like, this is crap. And I told my mom, like, if you want to get me into religion, you need to find better people than this to convince me of it, because it's not going to work this way. She tried out the, I want to say it's Episcopalian. It's whoever talks in tongues. It's
No,
who was that?
that's like the Baptists, like the
Yeah,
Southern
okay.
Baptists and speaking in tongues, the Pentecost thing and
Yeah, Pentecostal. That's it.
snake handling,
Pentecostal.
Pentecostals.
So
Yeah.
having gone to that and seeing people do that, it's like it was very confusing as a kid because I'm like, I don't feel like they're really. I feel like they're doing this on purpose, and it's not that it's out of their control to do it. And so and it
Right.
wasn't until I got older and started learning about how psychology works and how hypnotism and cults and such work. And it's like, okay, so this person believed they didn't have control over what they were doing. And so in a weird way, they didn't, but
Hmm.
they let themselves fall into that.
Yeah.
But yeah, religion was one of those things where I know it was probably one of my mom's biggest letdowns that I never fully fell into what she wanted. And I kept explaining to her the whole thing about how isn't it better that I have all these awesome beliefs about being a good person and I expect no reward when I die? So
Hmm.
I'm doing it for the sake of being good as opposed to doing it for some reward.
Right.
And she seemed to like that twist on how I would put things.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, like if you look at the old Hindi beliefs, like the people who don't believe the most are the ones who are playing their role the best, because the core of the beliefs the belief is that we are the universe experiencing itself. We're all part of the Godhead. And but the people who don't believe it the most are the ones who are like the most far out method actors of us all, and are doing the best job of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen too many people claim to be religious and stuff and then do all the stuff that a person who actually is religious shouldn't do.
Right.
And it's like, yeah. But
Yeah. Yeah, Bob. So just to keep up to speed, Bob says, "I really need to break out my quadruple chocolate cream pie again." Yes, you do, Bob, and you got to give some to me. Okay, my birthday's coming up. Just saying.
mm-hmm.
And
make a video on how you made it, so we can
not
all.
necessarily. I don't mind having the mystery there.
Okay.
And then our Twitch streamer says, "I don't know who you're dealing with. My pastor would do that stuff." Yes, many people are assholes.
Mm-hmm.
We Christians don't do good things just for reward. That's reductive.
I'm not saying all Christians don't. I've
Hashtag.
One of my closest friends is a Christian, and I even went with him on one of his days where they were making food for people, and I volunteered and made grilled cheese sandwiches for the day. So the thing I really appreciate about good churches, regardless of what denomination or religion they're in, is how they can bring communities together and really support each other. And there's all different kinds of religions that can fit that well. But yeah, I know decent Christians. I know horrible Christians. I don't know if I really know necessarily any horrible Wiccans, because they never come out to me and say that they're Wiccan and do horrible stuff. It's usually the good ones that will say they're Wiccans and such. Did you freeze up, Alex, or are you there? You go.
Oh, okay. Sorry. No, I'm just.
No, it's fine. I just because you were frozen in a position, I didn't know if it locked up. But yeah, I've met people of all different religions, and not all, and there's good representatives of each.
Yeah.
And it's to me, a big part of it is when the person just does the stuff that they want to have other people do, instead of trying to talk them into doing the other stuff or swaying them to their side. I have a big problem with tithing. So but yeah, looking back on stuff, it's just way too logical to me that the way the church and the state work together so closely, how that was manipulated to control the masses. That's right. And it's like, how do we convince these people to do what we want? Well, let's write a system of rules that make them do what we want, but tell them that it's a higher power that has set forth these rules. And since they're upset at us taxing them, let's say it's a tribute to the religion. You have to understand too, being the age I am, I grew up right in the mixture of the whole televangelist scams and cons, and so that left a huge bad taste in my mouth as to people that use religion to gain money and fame and such. And I know that they are not the common version of what's out there, but it makes me super suspicious of anyone.
Yeah, right.
But
I need a new private jet to be closer to the Lord when I'm flying around.
Right. It's like, why do you have these mega churches? But yeah, it's the really small ones that are not in it for the money that are much more appreciative. I'm appreciative of. But heck, I'm not even Jewish, and I've been to 2 different Passovers now. So if you can call them that.
Funny. They gave me a list of stuff to do, to recite, and then people were like, "You need to shut the fuck up, Alex." And no, you gave me a list of whatever number of things. Those things are being said by me, because not to put too fine a point on it, but y'all need some fucking practice reading out loud to fucking people and shit you haven't read before.
That's right.
You should let me fucking read the whole fucking thing. Let's be real here.
Well, you and me both. I brought the teacher voice.
Bring the fucking thunder.
That's right. It's like, okay, here's how you do it. Now do it. And then how much do I have to read? Nothing. Just pass and go to the next person.
Yeah, right.
They serve tea at those, right? Brisk teas. I'm making a joke on what Bob said, who's on Facebook, which nobody else saw. Which Bob said, never attend a bris. Usually you attend them once, and that's it, right? And then you're done. And you're good. You be sure to leave a tip.
Yeah. I'm uncut, so I don't know about the rest of y'all.
No, I'm edited. Director's cut. My parents had told me that at the time that was just considered a hygiene thing, which now we know is not accurate.
Yeah.
So much, but and then really for the decision that came for me as a dad with kids was what's the majority and what's going to make them feel the most comfortable if they ever shower in public kind of thing. Yeah. And it was really because it doesn't really matter too much one way or the other if it's not a religious thing.
Yeah, that was. I mean, we only have one child. They're female, but even so, like, I would kind of go with my mom's reasoning of like not having their kids cut, and that was like, I don't want to directly tell my kid or have my kid be brought pain for something that's not like a vaccine or something, you know. And like, actually, I probably shouldn't talk about that because it's someone else's news. And it'll be just the time that they come on and they get all mad at me about it. So I'll shut the fuck up about that now.
Oh, is that our other podcaster person?
No, it's I'm not gonna get into it. But
okay.
There's at least one person who I run my mouth and they get all mad at me and I have to apologize that they call me up all mad at me and shit.
It's not your wife, is it?
No.
Or your mom? Okay.
Well, but it's the kind of thing where it's like,
we'll talk after the show.
We'll talk after the show. I'll tell you all the deets. You'll be able to guess anyway. It's all good. Sorry, John boy.
Yeah, sorry about that. I feel like with my kids, because it wasn't a wait until a certain age and do it. It was like before they even really had a concept of what was going on in the world, like right there at the hospital, right then and there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
right.
Yeah, late. It's like kind of like later in life. Definitely I think that'd be more traumatic.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. I'm trying to think if there's any last stories since we're running out of time that I feel I'm going to regret if I didn't tell it, like if I forgot it.
Right.
Like
I think Mom's got more stories than that, but I got some other stories of like my grandma, my mother's mother, like I said, a garbage human being. But so in Nicaragua, they do have the voodoo thing, but they call it obia. And in fact, like that is kind of like the more Caribbean word for that kind of dark arts type of stuff. And my garbage grandmother and we had beef with like a neighbor, and they they did this thing where they got into a fight in the middle of the street. And during this fight, the neighbor's wig had fallen off, and so my grandmother snatched it up, and then she she made some stupid bullshit concoction of like melted mothballs and dirt and stuff, and put like a stick in it, and put like dip the wig in it, and like put on the stick pointing at the neighbor's house across the street. She put it like on the porch or something, and those neighbors moved. Didn't want to be cursed. Hilarity.
All right, so I did think of the thing I want to say that I don't want to forget. It's really cool memory of my mom. At my wedding, we did a really small ceremony and then a huge reception, and it was a costumed reception. And my aunt, my grandmother, and my mom all dressed up as at the time, I mean, the incorrect terminology would be gypsies at this point. Would it be Romain? What would be the correct terminology
Like
today?
Romani.
Romanian? Romani. So like Romani, but it was
Roma.
singing the song from Fiddler on the Roof, I believe it was. Man, I'm totally forgetting the name of the song, but it was very touching that the three of them had this whole dance routine that they put together and the song that
Aw.
they sung together for our wedding. And it was a big surprise because we had no idea that it was going to happen.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
And so somewhere there's a picture of them, and I very quickly sent out a quick email to my wife going, "Quick, do you have a way to get that picture to me?" I know that there's probably no possible way, but
Right.
I
Yeah.
just
Like before the
attempting
age of
that.
cell phones to
Right.
take the picture or do the
So-
video.
So we'll see, but uh, man, I'm trying to remember what that was. I've not seen the movie Fiddler on the Roof, or if I have, it was like
God,
a
it's
really
been
long time ago.
forever.
But it was some song that was like the from day to night or something like that. I'll have to look it up. But it was very touching. In any case, I'm really happy that that's one of those things that until I go senile and get Alzheimer's,
There's one
I'll
named
have that
Wedding
memory.
Celebration.
I don't know if that's it.
There's also Sunset.
Yeah, I don't know. But in any case, that was really cool. And didn't chase me around. There it is, sunrise, sunset. Thank you, Bob. That's what it was, sunrise, sunset.
That's what I just said. Son of a bitch.
Did you? How did I
Yeah.
not hear that?
That's okay.
But yeah. But yeah, the three of them did that. It was great. My brother dressed up like a terrorist. He had on the whole garb and an AK-47, toy AK-47 and such. But I had one friend dressed up as Lando and another friend dressed up as Han, and his girlfriend dressed up as Leia. So that was really
Aw,
cool.
that's really
And
cute.
Tara and I did
Yeah, I didn't even know you then.
Renaissance. No, Tara and I did Renaissance style costumes. So
Nice.
because we were originally going to do a Renaissance style wedding, and then quickly realized not a lot of our friends were into the Renaissance stuff, but they were
Right.
cosplayer, costuming people. So we're like,
Sure.
just come dressed up as whatever.
Uh-huh.
But
Call
that
it a
was a
Star
lot
Trek
of fun.
episode.
Yep.
Yeah, that's really
So,
cute.
no headless chickens
Yeah.
or salty
Yeah,
worms.
my mother and stepfather met in a bar in the French Quarter, and it was Halloween,
Oh
and
wow.
she was dressed like a devil. And then like one of the first kind of gothic kind of semi-formal events Lauren and I went to, I wore a black velvet cassock and she was wearing like, red and black and corseted, and she had like devil horns too. And we showed mom that picture. She's like, mm-hmm. Ren fairs are the shit. Any day I get to have a sword on my hip, it's a good day. I actually just took my my two rapier and dagger sets out of storage, and holding them in my hands. to paraphrase Sweeney Todd, at last my arm is complete.
Cool. Really appreciate you, Bob, John Boy, and as always, Brent, coming to our show. We are at that end point time again. I'm guessing, I don't know if Guy made it back in time to do his other show or not, because we know where his priorities lie. He could go see a movie later and skip out on the other show, but no, he skips out on this show. But we showed him because he had 1,000 opportunities to say your mom and he didn't get to do it.
Right?
So
yeah, we even mentioned Star Trek. How about take that, guy?
Take it. Yep. All right. Well, cool. Well, we should wrap up and be out of here. Once again, thanks. And we will hopefully be here again next Monday, same time. Until then, I've been Troy.
I've been Alex.
And this has been Geek Tank. And there's the button. Bye.